Sleep Sayer welcomes you, dear listener. As you settle into your comfortable resting place, allow your mind to drift and your body to relax. Tonight, we embark on a gentle journey to the winter's sweet promise. Let the soft whispers of this tranquil tale carry you to a peaceful slumber. In the hushed darkness before dawn, Hazel Matthews unlocked the door of Sweet Pine Bakery, stepping into shadows that held both memory and possibility. Each morning began this way, darkness slowly yielding to light, silence gradually filling with purpose. As she moved through her familiar routine, she felt the gentle weight of solitude that had become her constant companion since inheriting the bakery 6 months ago. The century-old wooden floors creaked softly beneath her feet as she made her way to the kitchen, each step echoing with the footfalls of 3 generations of bakers who had come before. Her grandmother Eleanor's decision to retire to Florida had been sudden but not unexpected, leaving Hazel with not only the family business, but also the unspoken expectation of carrying forward a legacy as intricate as the recipes stored in the silver box on her office shelf. The soft hum of the ovens provided a gentle backdrop to her morning routine, as familiar and comforting as an old lullaby. Steam rose in lazy spirals from the proofing cabinet as the morning's first batch of cardamom bread slowly rose beneath cotton cloths. Hazel's hands moved with practiced grace through the ritual of kneading dough, her thoughts drifting like the snow that had begun to fall outside. The vintage pendant lights cast a gentle glow across the marble countertop, its cool surface marked with tiny imperfections that told stories of celebrations and consolations shared between neighbors across decades. At 32, Hazel had mastered the technical aspects of running the bakery, yet something elusive lingered just beyond her reach. It whispered in the spaces between measuring cups, in the pause between timer chimes, in the moment before dawn broke across the frost-etched windows. The brick walls of Sweet Pine held countless stories of connection and community, but lately, they seemed to echo with questions rather than answers. Every morning, she arrived before dawn, when the world was still wrapped in darkness and possibility. The ritual of turning on the lights, preheating the ovens, and pulling out the carefully labeled containers of flour and sugar brought a sense of peace to her soul. The quiet hours before sunrise were her favorite, when the bakery seemed to hold its breath in anticipation of the day ahead. She would often pause by the large front window, watching as the first hints of dawn painted the sky in gentle strokes of lavender and rose, while the street lamps cast pools of golden light on the freshly fallen snow. The brass bell above the door chimed softly at precisely 7:15, announcing the arrival of Thomas Anderson. The quiet accountant had become as much a part of her morning routine as the whir of the mixer and the scent of vanilla, though they rarely exchanged more than pleasant greetings about the weather or the day's specials. He carried with him the crisp scent of winter air and pine needles, a reminder of the world beyond the bakery's sheltering walls. Today, however, the familiar rhythm shifted. Thomas lingered at the counter, his fingers tracing the edge of a worn envelope that seemed to hold more than paper. The morning light caught the silver at his temples as he spoke, his voice carrying the softness of fresh snow. "Miss Matthews, I've been meaning to ask you something." He extended the envelope with careful hands. "I found this while helping my father sort through some old papers." Inside lay a yellowed recipe card in her grandmother's elegant script, Christmas Wish cookies, dated December 1962. The paper carried traces of vanilla and aged wood, scents that transported Hazel instantly to childhood afternoons spent watching Eleanor work her magic in this very kitchen. Thomas explained that his father, Richard, had once been close friends with Eleanor, the recipe a cherished reminder of a particularly memorable holiday season. The list of ingredients read like poetry: crystallized ginger that caught light like frost on window panes, orange zest bright as winter sunrise, white chocolate smooth as new-fallen snow. A curious note at the bottom specified adding a whispered wish with the vanilla, the kind of instruction that meant everything and nothing at once. As Thomas shared his father's stories of the old days in Pine Grove, when the bakery served as the heart of every celebration, Hazel felt something shift in the air between them, subtle as sugar dissolving in warm cream. Days began to flow together like watercolors on winter glass, each one bringing Thomas earlier to the bakery. The quiet hours before sunrise became a shared meditation as they experimented with the Christmas Wish cookie recipe. Their collaboration was punctuated by the gentle sounds of measuring cups against countertops, whisks against bowls, and the occasional soft laughter when a batch emerged less than perfect. The kitchen timer marked their shared mornings in peaceful increments, each chime bringing a new opportunity to adjust, refine, and discover. Sometimes they worked in companionable silence, letting the subtle symphony of baking speak for itself, the soft patter of sugar being sifted, the delicate crinkle of parchment paper being smoothed onto baking sheets, the rhythmic motion of wooden spoons against ceramic bowls. In these peaceful moments, Thomas spoke of his former life in Boston, where endless spreadsheets and financial reports had filled his days, but left evenings hollow. His voice carried the same wistful quality Hazel often heard in her own thoughts, a recognition that success alone couldn't fill all the spaces in a heart. She found herself sharing stories of learning to bake at Eleanor's side, of teachings that went beyond mere measurements and techniques to touch on patience, intuition, and the art of reading between the lines of a recipe. As Christmas drew near, the bakery windows collected intricate patterns of frost, nature's own delicate piping. Thomas's father began to visit in the mornings, settling into the chair by the window where light gathered like spun sugar. Richard's stories flowed as smooth as warm honey, painting pictures of Eleanor in her younger days, and the way Sweet Pine had served as a gathering place for heart-seeking connection. He spoke of winters long past when the bakery's lights had guided townspeople home through swirling snow, of how Eleanor would keep the ovens burning late into the night during storms, making sure anyone seeking shelter would find warmth and comfort within these walls. His memories wove together like intricate lacework, each story connecting to another until the past felt as tangible as the present moment. One evening, as the last customers drifted away like snowflakes on the wind, Hazel found Thomas waiting outside with 2 cups of hot chocolate. They walked through the town square, their footsteps leaving temporary signatures in the fresh snow as holiday lights twinkled overhead. He confessed that the recipe had been his father's gift, a gentle nudge toward the connection Richard had noticed blooming in his son's daily visits to the bakery. Together, they perfected the Christmas Wish cookies, adding their own touch, a sprinkle of sea salt that transformed sweetness into something deeper, more complex. Richard later revealed that Eleanor had created the original recipe the winter she met Hazel's grandfather, making it more than a list of ingredients but a story of patience, timing, and the magic that happens when separate elements combine to create something entirely new. Christmas Eve arrived wrapped in layers of silver fog and hushed anticipation. Hazel opened the bakery door to find Thomas had preceded her, the windows already warm with welcome and the air rich with fresh coffee. On the counter sat a perfectly plated Christmas wish cookie, decorated with white chocolate and a dusting of gold sugar. The cookie itself seemed to embody all their shared mornings, the careful attention to detail, the balance of flavors they had discovered together, the patience required to achieve something truly special. Steam rose from its surface in delicate spirals, carrying the mingled scents of vanilla, ginger, and possibility. Beside it lay a new recipe card, written in careful script to match her grandmother's style, titled First Love Cookies. The snow continued its gentle descent outside, each flake carrying its own small possibility. Through the windows, Hazel watched the town slowly illuminate, distant lights appearing like stars finding their places in the dawn sky. The morning revealed Pine Grove in gentle stages, first the steeple of the old church emerging from the darkness, then the row of maple trees along Main Street, their bare branches traced in silver frost, and finally the small shops and cafes that made up the heart of their community. Each day brought its own particular beauty, painted in soft brushstrokes of light against the canvas of early morning. Time in the bakery took on new measurements after that winter, marked not by clock hands but by shared glances, gentle touches, and the countless small moments that weave themselves into the fabric of belonging. The brass bell still announced each day's beginning, the wooden floors still sang their ancient songs, and love, like the best recipes, continued to be passed down and transformed, each generation adding its own essential ingredient to the mix. As another Christmas approached, Hazel added both recipe cards to her grandmother's silver box. The treasured past and the promising future nestled together like snowflakes finding their perfect pattern. The bakery continued to shelter stories of connection and possibility, but now its warmth came not just from well-tended ovens, but from the quiet certainty that some things, like the best breads and deepest loves, simply need time and patience to rise to their full potential. Our story ends here. Sleep Sayer bids you sweet dreams.